Very interesting that yesterday a pope was chosen from really from outside of Europe, which is significant. But more significant, this is a pope who has shown a real interest in serving and caring for the poor, or what Jesus calls the least of these. And he took as his name Pope Francis, which, of course, Francis was a saint who was very much concerned about the poor. It's real. It's really interesting and ironic to see that this happening right after a very prominent Catholic in the United States government, Paul Ryan, presents a budget that is just the opposite of what this Pope represents. Ayn Rand was the novelist and the self-proclaimed philosopher whose I guess her philosophy was encapsulated in the title of one of her books, The Virtue of Selfishness. She believes that individuals have only responsibility to their own happiness. And Paul Ryan, for decades, admitted that Ayn Rand was his greatest political influence, and his budget reflects that. It is a budget that seems to care very little for the least of these, for the vulnerable. All of his major cuts are cuts that affect the poorest and the weakest Americans. It's cuts in Medicare. It's turning very important social safety net programs into state block grants, and knowing how the states are pulling back in such a reactionary fashion now. My point is that the Paul Ryan budget is an immoral budget according to the Judeo-Christian tradition. It 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 shows more concern for the welfare of those who do well and the rich than it does for the poor. Not only that, it penalizes the poor. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to play out. The Catholic bishops denounced Paul Ryan's budget before. Now I'm wondering if they're going to be more activists now that they seem to have a pope who is much more concerned and in line with the gospel interests of Jesus and the poor. In the meantime, we need to sit down and look at these budgets as moral documents. And when we look at Paul Ryan's budget as a moral document, it turns out to be an immoral, anti-biblical budget. And not only should it be rejected, but it should also show people that Paul Ryan is someone who should not even be considered for a sensitive national role, a sensitive role in our national political life.